There are some stories that don't start with a disaster. They start with a promise. This isn't a story about catching someone in the act, or walking into a room and seeing something you can't unsee. It's about something slower. Something quieter. Something that takes years to build, and just a few sentences to destroy. This is the story of how I lost my fiancée and my best friend in the same moment, and how, somehow, I still ended up being the one everyone blamed. When I first met Emily, nothing about the moment felt special. There was no movie-style slow motion. No time stopped when our eyes met nonsense. She was just another person at a friend's party, laughing too loud at a joke that wasn't that funny, holding a plastic cup, wearing an oversized sweater and ripped jeans. But I remember one thing. She listened. Most people at parties talk to be heard. Emily talked to understand. When I spoke, she didn't look around the room, or at her phone. She looked straight at me. Like what I was saying actually mattered. That was new. We started as friends. Casual messages. Late-night calls that accidentally went on for hours. The kind where you look at the time and say, "Wait, how is it 3 a.m. already?" Slowly, she became the person I told everything to. The stupid stuff. The embarrassing stuff. The dark stuff I didn't tell anyone. She didn't judge. She didn't lecture. She just stayed. I think that's when I fell in love with her. Not because she did something big, but because she stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. We moved from friends to dating somewhere between shared playlists and you can tell me anything messages. Years passed. We survived bad jobs, money struggles, family drama, stupid arguments about nothing. Through everything, there was one thing I never doubted. We were a team. And eventually, being a team turned into being engaged. I remember the night I proposed. Nothing fancy. No fireworks. No orchestra. Just us, sitting on the floor of our small apartment, eating takeout off cheap plates because the table was covered in work stuff. I pulled out the ring, hand shaking, and asked, "Will you marry me?" She stared at it, then at me, then back at it, and she started crying. Not polite tears. Not Instagram tears. Ugly, shaking, real tears. She said, "Yes. Of course. You're my home." Home. That word meant something to me. I didn't know then how much it would hurt to lose it. There was always a third person in our relationship. His name was Jason. Jason had been my best friend for over 10 years. We were the type of friends who knew each other's worst secrets and still chose to show up the next day. We met in school, got into trouble together, got each other out of trouble, and went through the whole "we're going to change the world" phase together. He was the first person I told about Emily. He was the first person I showed her photo to. He was the first person I called after she said yes. When Jason met Emily in person, he hugged me afterwards and said, "You did good, man. Don't screw this up." We became a trio. Game nights, dumb movies, random road trips, inside jokes. We'd sit on the couch, Emily between us, Jason making her laugh, me watching them both and thinking, "These are my people. This is my family." I trusted them completely. I'd like to say there were red flags. I'd like to say I saw it coming. But I didn't. The truth is, sometimes there are no signs. Or maybe there are, and you're too in love and too loyal to see them. Either way, I didn't. I can't tell you the exact day things started to feel off. It wasn't one big moment. It was 100 small ones. Emily started spending more time working late. At first, it made sense. She had a demanding job. Deadlines. Meetings. No big deal. Then working late became grabbing a quick drink with coworkers after. Then coworkers became a coworker. I remember the first time she mentioned him. "We've got a new guy on the team," she said. "He's actually pretty funny." I didn't think twice. Why would I? You don't suspect people you trust. I started seeing more of my own friends, more of Jason, to fill the extra time I suddenly had. When Emily wasn't home, I'd hang out at Jason's place. We'd game. We'd talk. We'd joke about wedding plans. He'd say, "Man, it's weird. You're gonna be a married guy soon. Old man status." I'd laugh. Because of course. That was the plan. We'd joke about who'd cry more at the wedding, me, him, or my mom. I never imagined that the same person I was planning to have as my best man was slowly becoming something else in my story. There wasn't one big caught you moment. It was smaller than that. It was Emily laughing a little too hard at her phone. It was her quickly locking the screen when I walked into the room. It was, "I'll answer that later." And, "It's just work, don't worry about it." It was her flinching, actually flinching, when I reached for her phone one day to check the time. I wasn't even suspicious. Not yet. But something about that flinch stayed with me. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was stressed from work, that I was turning into that guy. The insecure one, the jealous one. I didn't want to be that guy, so I pushed the thought away. Until the night everything changed. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special. Emily said she'd be home late, some team meeting at a restaurant. I believed her. Why shouldn't I? I was at home, passing time, when my phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. I ignored it. They called again. And again. I finally picked up. "Hello." Silence. Then a voice. "Is this Emily's fiancé?" My chest tightened. "Yes." "Who's this?" "I'm her coworker. I think you should probably know. She left early. With someone. She's not at the restaurant anymore." I felt something inside me drop. My mouth went dry. "With who?" I asked. There was a pause. "I'm not trying to start drama," he said quietly. If it were me, I'd want to know. It was some guy she's been talking to a lot. Dark hair. Glasses. I don't know his name. They left together." Maybe it was the way he said it. Maybe it was the pity in his voice. But in that moment, denial wasn't an option anymore. I hung up. I sat there in silence for a long time. Then, like muscle memory, like instinct, like the only person I knew to call when my life made no sense, I called Jason. He didn't pick up. I texted him. No response. I told myself I was overreacting. I told myself there was an explanation. But my hands were already shaking. Emily came home 2 hours later. I was sitting on the couch. The TV was on. I don't remember what was playing. I wasn't really watching. She walked in, surprised. "Oh," she said. "You're still up?" "Yeah," I answered. "How was the restaurant?" She dropped her keys on the table. "It was fine. I'm exhausted. I really don't want to talk about it. Can we just go to bed?" Her hair was a mess. Her lipstick was faded. Her perfume was stronger than usual. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "Sure," I said. I didn't ask anything that night. I didn't accuse. I just lay there in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. The next day, I couldn't shake it. So I did something I wish I didn't have to do. I checked our shared location history on my phone. Not because I wanted to be controlling, but because I needed the truth. She hadn't been at the restaurant. Not even close. She'd been across town. In a neighborhood we never went to. Parked on a quiet street. 4 hours. My stomach twisted. I zoomed in on the map. And my heart stopped. Because I recognized the street. It was near Jason's place. She told people I was controlling. He told people I was distant. They told themselves the story they needed to sleep at night. In their story, they were two people who fell in love by accident. Because I wasn't there emotionally. In my story, I was someone who trusted too deeply, forgave too easily, and stayed too long. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe I wasn't perfect. Maybe I did miss signs. Maybe I could have communicated better. But there's one thing I know for sure. I didn't deserve to find out the way I did. I didn't deserve to be blamed for the pain they caused. And I didn't deserve to lose both my partner and my best friend in the same moment. So now I'll ask you, if someone betrays your trust, then convinces everyone around you that it was your fault, are you wrong for walking away? Are you wrong for choosing your own peace over their version of the story? Tell me what you would have done.